43 rescued in Vietnam's double landslides, 13 still missing. Prime Minister held talks with U.S. Secretary of State in Hanoi. EU provides 3.3 million euros to assist flood victims in central Vietnam. Trade surplus hits record in 10 months. Ho Chi Minh City's travel companies offering 200 discounted tours. Good morning, welcome to FBC News Weekly. In this program, we will update you with the latest news from Vietnam. Now, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh held talks with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Hanoi on October 30th. The U.S. Secretary of State was on an official visit to Vietnam on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the two countries' diplomatic ties.
In a statement to commemorate the anniversary back in July, Pompeo has said, "In the past, we were opponents on the battlefield, but today our security relationship is all about corporations. As we celebrate 25 years of partnerships in 2020, let us renew our commitment to a strong and independent Vietnam and a peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific region." He also lauded Vietnam for its chairmanships of the Associations of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, this year, especially in coordinating ASEAN's response to the COVID-19 pandemic and issues related to economic recovery. The U.S. also reaffirmed it will stand alongside Vietnam in support for a peaceful resolution of disputes, the rule of law, freedoms of navigation and overflight, and unimpeded commerce.
Dozens of survivors were pulled from the mud in Vietnam on Thursday, October 29th, after landslides triggered by Typhoon Molave, one of its strongest storms in decades, lashed a central region already reeling from weeks of heavy rains that have killed at least 160 people. At the site of one landslide that buried a village of 53 people in remote areas of Quảng Nam province, rescue workers managed to find 34 survivors and 13 remained missing. As well as the death scores, more were still missing, mostly in landslides, as a result of a succession of storms which have hammered Vietnam since early October. More than 1 million people have been affected for weeks by storms which have caused heavy rains and some of the worst flooding in years in central Vietnam, pushing relief agencies to their limits. Molave, which has left Vietnam, damaged 56,000 homes in the country and left millions without electricity, with heavy rain expected in the central region until Saturday, October 31st. Now, as many as 19,244 poor households in the central region of Vietnam have received support to build and repair their houses to become more resilient to storm and flooding, thanks to the government's policy to assist them in the field. So far, $28.7 million has been spent on the work. The scheme covers 14 localities from Thanh Hóa to Bình Thuận. 6 out of the 13 engaging localities have completed the allocation of the aid, while the rest has finished 70%. Over the years, programs to support poor households in the central region to build and upgrade their houses to respond to storms and floods have helped to ensure safety for the beneficiaries, thus contributing to the economic development in the localities. The ministry reported that the program to support locals in flood-hit localities in the central region, in-house construction and repairing, has benefited more than 170,000 households, of whom more than 122,000 enjoyed newly built houses. Initial reports from localities show that no houses built and upgraded with aids from the program were seriously damaged in the recent flooding. The European Union announced on October 28th that it would provide 1.3 million euros to bring critical humanitarian assistance to families affected by severe flooding in central Vietnam.
The region has suffered historic flooding from prolonged downpours and successive typhoons since early this month, which has by October 25th resulted in 130 deaths and 18 missing persons. at least 1.3 million people in the regions have been affected, and on October 28, a powerful typhoon continued to lash the regions, with more damage and losses expected. Serious damage to transport infrastructures has been reported, while nearly 10,000 hectares of crops and nearly 1 million cattle and poultry has been lost in the floods. These contributions underlie our solidarity with the people of Vietnam, many of whom have suffered the loss of homes, livelihood, and belonging in the wake of the devastating floods, said Oliver Borrent, who oversees the EU humanitarian response in the Mekong regions, in a press statement. The EU said the funding included the distributions of hygiene kits and other essential relief items while ensuring access to drinking waters, sanitation facilities, and the promotion of good hygiene practice, in addition to cash transfers for people to use to buy essential goods.
Vietnam's exports rose 4.7% year-on-year in the first 10 months of this year to more than $229 billion for a trade surplus of a record $18.7 billion, the General Statistics Office announced on October 29th. In October alone, export value was estimated at $26.7 billion, down 1.7% month-on-month, but up 9.9% year-on-year. During the 10-month period, 31 goods earned over $1 billion each from exports, accounting for 91.8% of the total. 5 brought home more than $10 billion each, or 59.9%. Heavy industry and mining rate in $123.8 billion, up 8.4% year-on-year. Light industry and handicraft, meanwhile, reported revenue of $81.8 billion, up 1.5%. Agroforestry, $16.8 billion, down 1.5%. And fisheries, $6.9 billion, down 2.5%. The U.S. remained the largest importer of Vietnamese goods in 10 months, followed by China, EU, ASEAN, the Republic of Korea, and Japan. Total imports in October were estimated at $24.5 billion, up 1.2% month-on-month and 10.1% year-on-year. 10-month imports totaled $210.5 billion, up 0.4% year-on-year. China remained Vietnam's largest import source. You're watching FBNC News. Now, on last Tuesday, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh also held phone talks with the UK's former Prime Minister Tony Blair, who is now Executive Chairman of the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Mr. Blair spoke highly of Vietnam's success in the COVID-19 fight and being among the few economies with positive growth in 2020. He also stressed the role of digital transformation and technology application in combating COVID-19, mentioning the possibility of working with the U.S. Oracle Group to carry out a digital healthcare management system in Vietnam in response to the pandemic. He applauded Vietnam's improved investment and business climate, adding that with the nation has recorded in the COVID-19 fight and enforcement of the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, the country is emerging as a magnet for the global FDI flow. The UK's former Prime Minister also affirmed his readiness to assist Vietnam in attracting high-quality investment. The Japan's government has officially added 7 types of jobs in the construction industry, which will allow Japanese firms attract more specified skilled foreign workers, including those from Vietnam, according to the Vietnam's Overseas Labor Department under the Ministry of Labor, Invalids and Social Affairs. Specifically, these jobs are scaffolding, carpentry, water system construction, metal processing, cooling and heat retention, spraying, urethane insulation, and offshore construction. The Overseas Labor Department has sent a notice to companies that could supply specified skills workers to Japan for a more actively cooperation with Japanese partners. Now, as many as 100 travel companies in Ho Chi Minh City are taking part in the second tourism stimulus program with nearly 200 discounted products. The program recently kicked off in an effort to help travel agencies affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. About 100 travel agencies have agreed to join in the program and are offering tourism products with discounts of 10 to 50% in order to encourage people to travel to and within Ho Chi Minh City. Many tours have been upgraded. A few tours under this program have been introduced and have received positive feedback from locals. The hop-on hop-off bus, the river buses, and the upcoming metro system are essential to the efficiency of new tours. Many firms have launched quality promotional campaigns to attract more tourists. The Hanoi Creative Space Design Contest was launched on October 28th by the Hanoi Department of Culture and Sports and Architecture magazine in collaboration with the Hanoi's People Committee and the Vietnam Association of Architects.
The contest is one of the events in a series of activities launched by Hanoi to raise the community's awareness and engagement in the cultural and creative poles of the cities and realize creative hubs and communities in the capital cities. With a history of more than 1,000 years, Hanoi is considering the creative economies as the core factors in the city's dynamic, comprehensive and sustainable development process. The contest aims to mobilize new ideas and unique initiatives to build creative and cultural hubs in Hanoi in order to awaken potential and form a network of rich and attractive creative spaces for the cities, said the directors of the Culture Department and head of the contest organizing board. Entries will be collected by March 22, 2021. The total values of prize for professionals and semi-professional sectors in all categories is up to $14,200.
Now that has come to an end of FBNC News program today. Thanks for watching and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Goodbye.